good to go.
All right. Well, guys, I'm so excited to be your host today. If we haven't met before, my name is Cameron. I am on the Elmer's team, work on the social media and PR, a little bit on the influencer side of things. So welcome in. Excited to have you. If you didn't know, today's theme is St. Patrick's Day. So if you notice, I'm wearing my green suspenders. Also, you can't really tell, but these glasses here are also a very dark green, so I'm doubly covered. Make sure that you're also wearing green. If you're not wearing green right now, you have to pinch yourself. And it's an honor code, so I can't see you. I don't know that you are pinching yourself, but if you're not wearing green and you're participating in this class, I'm going to need you to pinch yourself. So I'll be your host for today. We also have two other friends moderating. We have Alex and we have Megan. So they're going to see all your chat and any questions that you have. So want to call out that the chat is specifically if you want to tell us something. If you want to answer one of the questions that I say to you guys, you want to say where you're from, or what's your favorite Elmer's glue or slime, say it in the chat function. The Q&A function is for you to ask specific questions to me or Alex or Megan, and we'll be able to get you those specific answers. So please note that. Also, if you don't know, we're making slime today. So this class will be recorded and it will be put up on the michaels.com website. So if you do miss a step, or if you want to go back and watch it and see exactly what we did, you can go to michaels.com/classes and it'll be living there. So that'll be up in a couple days. And yeah, we would love for you to join us repeatedly again and again, and watch out for any future classes there. So yeah, without further ado, we'll get started. So for our slime class today, you will need a big bowl like this one. You will need a spatula. I prefer just a, like more so the plastic or even wooden works. So really anything that you have. I would recommend asking your parents before going through their drawers though. So don't just take this, ask your parents first, make sure they're cool with you making slime with it. It is non-toxic, it can be cleaned, so be sure to ask your parents first. You'll also need this gold glitter glue, as well as clear glue, and then you'll also need this green glitter glue, as well as our fun Elmer's magical liquid. So what this does is it activates and it transforms our glue into slime. But guys, this is just what we're using for today. If you don't have these, it's completely fine. You can use whatever glue you want. These slimes are pretty customizable as well. So whatever you like to do, however you like your slime, that's cool with me. You can make it exactly how you like it. I also do recommend, just for a little festive theme, we have these shamrocks around my bowl. So if you're making slime for the holiday and celebrating St. Patrick's Day, why not get some of these shamrocks from Michaels? They're great addition to it. So yeah, we'll go ahead and dive in. And be sure, if you do have any questions, to refer those over in the Q&A. Alex, Megan, and I will answer any questions that you have. So what we're going to do first is we're going to take this humongous 9 fluid ounce container of clear glue. I'm going to take the top off, and we just want to pour it in. Now, isn't that beautiful? It just kind of flows out. There we go. And I like to try to get as much glue out as possible, but it's not a big deal if you don't get everything out. The way that we're doing this today is you don't have to have specific measurements or anything. We'll just kind of pay attention, and once it starts to firm up and look like the texture that we want it for slime, we'll stop and we'll get to playing with it. So we're going to start with our green glue as well. So again, what I did here is I put in the full 9 ounces of the clear glue, and then I am going to just take off the cap for the green glue and just put as much as I want in here. So I'm probably going to do a couple squeezes, but it's really up to you how much of each glue you want to put in. I like the clear because it gives you a pretty good base. And then you just kind of mix them together. You want to integrate them. And then if you have any like food coloring or anything that you like to add to change the color of your slime or glue, this is a good place or good step to put them in. So it's looking a little kind of like Mountain Dew color. So what we'll do here is we'll put more green glue in. There we go. This is going to be a large batch, so we're going to need a lot of magical liquid to make this into slime. All right, there we go. One thing I want to ask guys, so I want to keep it on theme with St. Patrick's Day. Do you guys know that green was not the original color that was associated with the holiday? So you probably didn't. I didn't know that. I just researched that yesterday. But who can tell me in the chat feature what was the original color that was used to celebrate St. Patrick's Day? We got some blue, gold, orange. We have red, okay. Another orange, red. Okay, well, guys, the correct answer is actually blue. So blue was the original color used to celebrate St. Patrick's Day. But then with the Emerald Isles in Ireland and men starting to wear lapel pins that featured a shamrock, the color changed. Who knew? I didn't know, but now I do, and you do too. All right, so now we have everything mixed in. We're going to go ahead and pour in some of our magical liquid. Important to remember that you don't have to have magical liquid. We prefer it because it takes one step out. But if you don't have magical liquid, you can use baking soda and contact solution. So with the baking soda, you put in a teaspoon, and then with the contact solution, you treat it pretty similarly to how we're going to be treating our magical liquid, just putting in a little bit at a time. So right now, I'm going to start with probably, a large dollop just due to our volume of slime here. Generally, what we're going to do is we're going to add about quarter size splurts or dollops of that magical liquid in. And we just want to stir. And this probably isn't going to do much just because, again, it's a lot of glue. But we want you to be making lots of glue, right? We want you to make lots of glue for yourself, but then also you can share it with your friends, your family. So if you look at the texture, it's not close to where we want it, right? It's still pretty glue-like. So we're going to put some more magical liquid in there. And then we're going to stir. Do you guys have any questions about the process so far? Don't be shy. If you have a question, there are no dumb questions with this. We want to make sure we get it right. Does anybody have a favorite type of slime? It does look very satisfying. I see that. So yeah, so I've called this Activator. It's a magical liquid. I use those terms interchangeably because it basically activates the slime, right? So the official term, the name of the product is magical liquid, but I also call it activator. So that's just a disclaimer.
We had one quick question from somebody asking how they know when it's the right texture for slime.
Yeah, so you're going to want your slime to stick to itself. So if you see right here, it's sticking to the bowl, it's sticking to the spatula. There's not really, you know, there's not really a trait for it to stick to itself yet, right? Like we have to add in a lot of activator before it's going to stick to itself. And it is a little subjective too, because you can make your slime a little bit more wet, but then you can also make your slime a little bit more firm. So part of it comes down to understanding what you prefer, but we're definitely not close yet.
Lots of people said fluffy slime and cloud slime are their favorite types to make. Also glitter.
Okay, so we're doing a glitter one today, so that's perfect. My favorite one are the glow in the dark ones. I really like to take my slime outside at night and just play with a couple of my friends. So it's getting a little bit thicker. You can kind of see that, right? But it's still not to the point that we want it. And then we also want to make sure that we do kind of take our spatula along the sides of the bowl, because when we're mixing in the magical liquid / activator, it can kind of get stuck on the external pieces of the slime versus working its way and massaging its way into the center. So we want to try to provide that opportunity for the magical liquid to set in across all of the slime. So we're going to put a little bit more in. Keep on stirring until we get to that texture that we need. There we go.
Some people agree with you. They love glow in the dark slime. And then we got some for color changing and crunchy.
Okay, that's awesome. Color changing is also great. Honestly, you can't really go wrong with any slime. It's all fantastic. I have a question for you guys. Another piece of trivia. What is the animal that our logo, or what type of animal is in our logo? This guy right here. What type of animal is this guy? Can anybody tell me?
We keep getting a lot of bulls, some ox.
Right, I see that. Cow, bull. Yeah, you're right. It's a bull. Well, do you know this bull is married. Do you know the bull's, Elmer is his name. Do you know Elmer's wife's name? No, I like the honesty. You don't know his wife's name. Holly, not quite. Eleanor is kind of close. It does start with an E. It's not Edna, though. I do like the uncertainty with a question mark. Alina is very close. Ellie is also very close. No, Elmer is the name of the bull. That's Elmer, not the wife. Eleanor, okay. Well, I'll go ahead and tell you guys. The name of Elmer's wife is Elsie. So you guys who are saying Ellie, you guys were very close. What I do to try to remember is I think of the, kind of one of my favorite princesses named Elsa, and then you just say Elsie. It's one letter difference. It is a gorgeous name, I agree. All right, we're still thickening up on our slime. With our second batch, the gold batch, I might put a little bit less clear glue into it, just because it It is working my arm out. That's also what I like about making slime. You know, it's if you haven't gotten to go into the gym, you know, you can get your arm workout doing this. You see this angle right here? So we're working out our upper shoulder. So I guess if this slime making doesn't work out, I can also lead a workout class. Come join that too. All right, so we're getting there for sure, but we're still not there. One thing that I also do recommend having handy, which I don't currently have handy, is a napkin or a paper towel. Just because when we start to, you know, like dip a finger in, like that's how we test. And right now it's not to where we want it yet. But if you just have a paper towel to the side, you can just wipe it off really fast and get back to stirring. So we're gonna put in, let's do about 2 dollops worth. And we're gonna keep on chugging, keep on going. And I'm getting confident that we're close. Well, close-ish, not. There's an insight at least with this batch. And again, you want to make sure you get the sides and you want to fold it in and kind of fold it in on top of each other like that. Do we have any more questions on how you're making slime? How are you guys doing?
We just got a question asking what they should do if their slime is too sticky.
Too sticky? So that's exactly the problem that we're encountering right now. That's a good thing. It means that you haven't over-activated your slime. Again, like when it's super thick, it's not a bad thing. It just may not retain all the qualities that we want in our slime. So if yours is still sticky, kind of like mine, you just want to keep on adding small amounts of the magical liquid. And if you keep on doing that, keep on giving it a stir, mixing it around a little bit, I guarantee you that you'll end up with the perfect slime. Any more questions? I'm sure you guys are pros at this point, honestly. You probably know a little bit more than me. So, you know, if you know what you're doing, give even some tips. And we might be able to read some out in the chat. As you can see, this is real thick now. But if we touch it, we can still see that there's still a string that kind of comes up with it. So that means we're not ready yet and that we still need a little bit more magical liquid. But as you can see, the one cool thing that we're looking for is that it's this ball of slime will stick to itself. And as you kind of see, as we scoop it away from the bowl, you see that it's starting to stick more to itself than the bowl. So that's a very encouraging sign and a good sign. See, is that an emoji that somebody sent? A smiley face? Well, smiley face back to you. So I added in another dollop of magical liquid. And then I'm just gonna massage that in. And it is working great. It's looking good. How's everybody else's looking? Are you guys also doing well? Actually, I think we just had a question. Can you do, you said both colors? Is that what you just chatted? Yeah, so with it, go ahead, sorry.
No, I was just gonna say, I think so. And I think we also had a couple of people say that their slime is ready.
Okay, well, you guys are a lot faster than me. I'm getting there, not quite there yet. But yeah, if your slime is ready, honestly, hold tight. Maybe take it out of the bowl, start playing with it a little bit. Maybe making some bubbles or what's one thing that you guys like to do with a finished slime? Like, how do you like to play with your slime? Do we have any answer from that? Poke it, okay. And this honestly takes a lot of patience. Make cookies, you can't make cookies with slime. That's not possible. I also like to stretch it and pull it apart. The one thing I like to do is I like to hold it above my head, kind of like this. And I like to let it just drip down and then have like a little thin layer right here where I can just put my face through. Not into the slime, just like where you can kind of see it behind it. That's what I like to do. All right, we're very close. If you're taking a look at our slime, I'm gonna do our test again. And as you can see, I'm pulling up and it's not really sticking. So we're at a good spot. I'm gonna put, for good measure, just want to make sure that most of the stickiness is gone. Just one little tiny more dollop of magical liquid. And then I think we're there in terms of this slime. One thing that I also like that is awesome is I like to use a cherry limeade scented activator. For me, slime is a little bit more fun when I get some of my senses involved, and the smell of the cherry limeade scent is amazing. So if you end up, running out of your activator soon, your magical liquid, I highly recommend, trying a scented one. It's great. All right, this is looking good. Okay, we're going to test it again. You see how it's easily coming off my fingers. There's no slime attached to my fingers. That's the type of texture that we want. So I'm gonna take one hand in here and just massage it around. There's still some magical liquid on the surface. So I just want to kind of massage that in and get my hands used to the slime. And when you are working with slime this big, it is a little bit deceiving sometimes. As you can see, it's starting to feel a little bit more sticky. So we want to continue massaging it in, see if we can get some more of the magical liquid to activate in the slime and make it the perfect texture. And we want to keep on working with it. This is kind of like baking in a way, right? You have to just put in the exact right amount for it to end up how you want it. I kind of think of this as like a dough. It's kind of like, like pizza dough or something like that. I don't know, I'm just a foodie. It's also, in Atlanta, it's getting close to dinner time. So I might just have a little bit of food on my mind. All right, because it is still a little sticky, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna add in a little bit more of our magical liquid, just because while it's not sticking to the bowl, it is sticking to my hands, and that's something that I do not want. So I'm gonna mix that in. All right, I have another question for you guys. So what is the reason why people wear green on St. Patrick's Day? Do you guys know? Okay, we have luck. It's to respect St. Patrick's Day. We have good luck again. Money. Not quite. It is a tradition. That's true. Okay, those are our guesses. So the tale goes that back when the tradition of the leprechaun was created for St. Patrick's Day, there were people thought that if you wore green, it made you invisible to leprechauns, and leprechauns had a hobby of pinching people. So yeah, if you wore green, you were invisible to leprechauns, and it would keep them from pinching you. But also, all the people who said luck, you guys were not wrong. It gives you good luck as well. So that is the reason behind wearing green on St. Patrick's Day. All right, we're getting close. We're very close, very close. Just gonna use a little bit more magical liquid. And we are there. And I like to get in there with my hands. It just gives you a little bit more control, especially once you get to this stage. When it turns kind of from liquid to more so blob, like what we're at right now, it's just a lot easier to massage in the magical liquid. Or if you're not able to use magical liquid, it's easier to massage in the contact solution when you're starting to mix it with your hand. It's kind of like, again, like what I was saying earlier with like a pizza dough. Like at some point, you may like start with like a whisk or an instrument, but once all of the ingredients have started to kind of form together, it just becomes easier and more efficient to mix in with your hand specifically. So this is what we're starting to look at right here. It's humongous. I actually don't know if I've made slime this large before. It's just like, it's bigger than, I feel like a softball. This is like a mini, maybe bocce ball or something. If you guys know what that is. You guys know what bocce ball is? I think that's a no. Okay, we got one yes. All right, I'm gonna get, okay, it's still sticking a little bit, but we're going to put in one more dollop. And this is the way to do it, just because, again, if you do, if you put too much activator in, or too much magical liquid in at the beginning, it'll make your slime too firm. So I know it's been a lot of kind of stop and go, adding in magical liquid, little bits and pieces at a time. But I promise you'll thank me for it later when you guys are, or I guess now while you're making it live, but then also later when you're making slime at home. Just because you don't want your slime to get too thick, because then it's harder to play with it. It may potentially at some point rip apart. And if it does get too firm, I will say there are ways to still make it able to play with. One being, you just kind of place it to the side, put it back in your bowl, let it sit for maybe like 20 minutes, and from there you'll be able to play with it again.
And I did just want to say, the more you play with it, the more it'll start to activate whether or not you add magical liquid. So if you keep stretching it between your hands and things like that, it'll start to activate. And as you mentioned earlier, if it gets a little too stiff, you can just let it sit for a little bit.
Yep, that's a great addition. All right, guys, we are so close. Now that's what you like to see right there. How far has somebody stretched it before? Have you guys gone like further than your wingspan? Like maybe you and a friend just see how far you can stretch it? That's honestly the best part for me. We got one no. Okay, well maybe that's an idea. You know, when you have a friend over, just stretching it out and seeing how far you can get your slime, especially when you make a humongous batch like this. This is what I was talking about earlier. This like letting it just seep down like that. Are there any more questions? I know that this was probably one of the larger batches you guys have made as well. And it turned out perfect, in my opinion. Any more questions from you guys? So somebody asked about slime decorations, it looks like. So yes, I would put in like if you wanted to make like a crunchy slime or something like that, I would put in those decorations right, I would say probably at the beginning, right after you add in your glue. That's a good question. So yeah, again, like you guys can customize this how you want. If you know you like your slime a certain way, you can add in, you know, maybe some confetti or something like that, and it'll be great and fun. So look at that. So yeah, whatever you guys want to do with your slime, you guys are free to do it, and we support that. And again, like as you guys are doing this, be sure to ask your parents to help you share this with us by tagging us at Elmer's Products and using the hashtag #MakeItWithMichaels. That's again hashtag #MakeItWithMichaels. We want to see how you guys are using your slime and stretching it and, you know, creating bubbles, air bubbles like that. I love that too. That's awesome. So we're going to put this slime to the side, which I can't stop playing with it. It's one of my favorite ones that I've made. So we're going to put this one to the side, maybe get all the excess glue off of our spatula. And then we're going to have another bowl, which we're going to make our golden slime with. And I remember that we had somebody in here from Chicago earlier. So this is dedicated to you. But fun fact, the city of Chicago, they dye their river that runs through their city green every year in celebration of St. Patrick's Day. Did you guys all know that? Maybe some of you guys, not everybody. Well, now you know. So I highly recommend once you are able to travel to Chicago, spending a St. Patrick's Day there. It's a big holiday there. I haven't done it myself, but recommend doing it at some point. And I do have it on my list at some point. So we're gonna go ahead and get started on our second slime. Again, if you have any questions, be sure to drop it in the Q&A, and we would love to answer those. Because that one took so long, our previous slime, I'm going to empty about half of this bottle in there. A little bit more. And then I'm going to put in a little bit more of our gold glitter glue in there. All right, here we go. All right. One more squeeze. There we go. And we're going to continue stirring. I know your arms aren't tired yet. You got to get that workout on. I just want to get that to when you see that the clear glue and the glitter is mixed in, that's when we're gonna start adding activator / magical liquid. All right, so that's pretty good. I might add a little bit more clear glue. There we go. Accidentally got a little bit on my hands, but that's all right. All right, we're gonna give that a little bit more of a stir. And I think I'm more excited about this one. The green green slime turned out perfect, but I'm excited about gold. Yeah, it's like you feel a little bit royal doing gold, right? Have any of you guys joined us for any slime classes in the past? And I'm gonna start adding our magical liquid. I could just call it magical activator, that's true. I just want you guys to know that I use them interchangeably. This is your first class, welcome. We're so glad to have you. I just want you to know that we've done a few of these. So keep up to date with us on Elmer's products on Instagram, as well as Michael's stores. And you can keep up with us on whenever we're doing a slime class. So last one we did, I also taught, which was our winter slime class. And it was more blue than this. So it kind of changes with the season. But you're in good hands with any of our presenters / instructors. So we do hope that you found this valuable and that you'll come back, because who doesn't like making slime? When is the next class? Don't know yet. But if you keep up to date with Michael's and with Elmer's on Instagram or on the michaels.com/classes website, you'll be able to find more information there. All right, so we put a little bit of magical liquid in. We're going to put more so that we start to thicken up and combine our glue and make it into slime. Does anybody have any like funky like stirring pattern? I like to kind of go clockwise into the counterclockwise, clockwise again. Maybe do one of these back and forth zigzag. Maybe you don't really pay attention to that like I do, but you know, you can kind of get funky with it. Just do you. This is about you. You grab all of it and you pick it up and put it back down. That is one way to do it for sure. I will say that can get a little sticky if you do it before the slime is ready. So I don't know if I would fully recommend it, but if you're able to get good result from that, then more power to you. Also, another reason why I like to use a scented magical liquid, slime activator. See, it says slime activator on here. So the reason why I like to use that is it kind of gets rid of that normal glue smell, which is not a bad smell, but it's just, you know, more appealing with a scented with a scent to it, and makes me more thankful for my slime. All right, we're thickening up a little bit, and you know what that means? We're going to add in more. So as you guys know, we're pretty heavy on slime production here at Elmer's. We do make glue for your classrooms, but we also love to make ingredients for slime, like this magical liquid. When we are testing new slime, how many do we test? Do you guys know? To come up with one product. What are your guesses? 12. Okay. Respectable guess. 20. over 50. You are correct with over 50, but it's a lot more than 50. That's your hint. 300, close, kind of. Closer. Not 1,000. No, that's a lot. No, not thousands. No. 400 is closer. 500 is what we're looking for. I saw somebody put 500. So we do 500 plus. So it's always around 500. That's just because at Elmer's, we want to make the best products for you, right? We want to enhance your slime making experience. Another fun fact, or I guess question for you guys is, how many children do Elmer and his wife Elsie have? Do you guys know? I didn't know this until recently. They don't really bring the children out that much, but how many children do they have? They do not have 300 kids. That's not one. Maybe that was a late response to the last question. 50 kids? Nope, not quite. I'll give you a hint. It's in the single digits. 6 is closer. Yes. 3, close. 4. Ding, ding, ding. I saw somebody write 4. So 4 kids is how many kids that Elsie and Elmer has.
And we have a couple people in the class whose birthday is today or tomorrow.
Wow, that's awesome. Well, we're so glad that you guys are sharing or choosing to share your birthday with us, and making slime on it. We want to wish you a happy birthday, and I'm honored to be a part of your birthday in some capacity, making some gold slime and green slime with you. What is the people who have birthdays? What are your favorite Elmer's glue products? Is it like glue sticks? Is it the like glow in the dark glue that we make? What are your favorite Elmer's products? Happy birthday. I see we have another birthday right there. So excited for you to join us. You could be doing anything else on your birthday, and spending with us means a lot. Glow in the dark glow or glue. Same.
One's a glitter and cherry activator.
Cherry activator. See, we're on the same wavelength. I'm gonna bring it out one more time. There it is. I love this stuff. There is also tropical scented, so that's if that floats your boat more than the cherry limeade. There's that. Really, there's just a whole world to slime that you just gotta wake up to. It's fun. You can customize it, make it your own, in so many different ways. And we're so excited to be a part of that process and to help provide just some fun moments for you guys. So we're still mixing in our magical liquid to thicken up our slime. Do you guys have any more questions in terms of making this? Honestly, these recipes are pretty simple, but they also go a long way in helping you celebrate the holiday. So just let us know if you do have any questions as we are continuing to mix our gold slime. Wow, time is passing fast. You know what they say? Time passes, or no, that's not it. that's not the phrase. Time flies when you're having fun. That's what they say. I probably am not going to put the slime on the clover leaves, but you guys can do that if you want to. I don't know if, well, maybe. We'll see. We'll see. Maybe at the end of the class, we'll do that. All right, our gold slime is getting there. As you see it sticking to itself, but you also still see it sticking to the spatula. So we have made lots of progress, but we need more activator. So we're gonna put in a little bit more. Do we have any more questions? I think I just saw one pop up.
I think there are questions about putting slime onto the shamrocks.
Gotcha. I wouldn't recommend it necessarily, but if you guys want to put it on here, I don't see why not. It might stick to it, and you know, it might be harder to get off. So I don't know if I would recommend it, but hey, if you guys, you know, make your slime fully, and if you stir it in to the texture where it isn't, you know, honestly messy, then then you can go for it. I would not recommend doing it before you have fully, I would say, activated your slime.
And then you also can glue those shamrocks to the actual slime containers that you're using for decoration.
Right. Yeah, if you do have a larger storage container than I do, you could just, yeah, go ahead and slap that on and glue it. All right, we are coming along here. So now that we've gotten to this point, we see that it's pretty firm. It's all really one piece except for these pieces on the spatula. So I'm gonna do the touch test. And when I do the touch test, as you can kind of see, it's making indents and holes into the slime, but it's not getting on my fingers, which is a perfect sign that we are very close to being done with this gold slime and playing with it. Now I'm gonna just kind of start massaging it with my hands, kind of what we did with the last one. And we want to just kind of knead it, honestly. We want to, like I was saying previously, we want to treat it like it's dough a little bit. And you do see again that it's a little sticky, right? So that just means that we're close to the stage where we want to be, but it needs still a little bit more activator. But it's a good texture still. So we're not far off. All right, I have a question for you guys. Has anybody ever dressed as a leprechaun for Halloween? No, okay. Yes, we got one. Yes, and then we got another one. A me. I did it once back when I was 10. It was a great time. One of the most memorable Halloweens that I have had. I don't know why. It was just a fun costume. You're 8? Okay. Well, welcome. Thanks for joining. I am 25. So a little bit older. How old are you guys? We have an 8, we have a 10. Okay, we have another 10. 7. Wow. It's so exciting to have so many different ages here. 4. Wow. Is a 4 and 3-year-old, are you guys getting it? Are you guys having any trouble at all? Or are you guys kind of in your comfort zone doing this? 6. 2. Wow, that might be the youngest I've had. All right, as you can kind of see, we're sticking less and less. So look, I can come up to my fingers and I can get all the excess slime off my hands. And that's exactly what we want. We can just kind of start stretching it. Look at that. Honestly, this is probably one of the cooler looking slimes I've ever made. This with the glitter and the gold. When you start to separate it, it kind of reminds me of honey mustard a little bit. Do not eat this though. Do not put this in your mouth. But it does kind of remind me of honey mustard. So we want to continue just kneading it out, playing with it, because as we continue to massage it, the activator will set in and it'll be perfect. So I'm going to get some more of this slime off of my spatula. And then I'm just gonna absorb it in. All right, there we go. Well, I hope you guys have had as much fun as I've had. This has been a blast to put together 2 batches of slime. Well, let me get the first one back out. We got this humongous green one right here. This is the largest batch I have ever made, for sure. There it is. It's so worth it though. If you guys have the time and the patience to make a batch this big, go for it. Again, guys, we want you to be sharing what you're making with us. Let's share that on social media. You can use the hashtag #MakeItWithMichaels, and you can tag @Elmer's Products in it. And we would love to see that. Ask your parents if you can do that. You said you made one that big. That's awesome. I highly recommend it. I don't think there's any going back. I don't know if I can do small batches after this. Large batches are where it's at. Bigger. Maybe next time. Maybe next time we can make a bigger batch. One thing I wanted to also show you guys are these containers. So I got mine from Michael's. You can get these from Michael's. You can get anything really here on my table. You can get at Michael's, and honestly, is the best place to get it. You know, for smaller batches, you can put your slime in some of these containers. So I made a couple for the holiday. We have one that says Saint. We have one that says Pat. And then we have one that says Rick. So it's St. Patrick's Day, right? But if you don't, feel like celebrating the holiday, maybe you could give your Aunt Pat a small container of slime. You can give your Uncle Rick a small container of slime. And, anybody who you hold in very high regard, your mom, your dad, who you really love, you can give them the Saint version of your slime. But yeah, this is how you make slime. It's pretty easy. It just takes a little bit of patience, a little bit of time, and don't forget a little bit of love. So if you have any more questions, I would love to help out with that. Any more questions from you guys?
Nope, I think everyone's enjoyed it and they're playing with their slime now.
Great, awesome. Well, be sure to keep up with us again on social media. Again, like this class was recorded. So in a couple days, this will be available on michaels.com/classes. It's been a blast on my end to be your instructor. Please continue to come back and make slime with us. So we don't know when the next one is, but just stay up to date with us on social media and on the website for michaels.com, and we'll get all that information to you. So thank you guys for joining, and have a fantastic evening. Bye, guys.